Rachel Maddow went to Dick Cheney's funeral yesterday. We can do this, people. It's Thanksgiving. Do yourself a favor, get over yourself, and go have it with your fam.
If there's one thing we shouldn't have to say out loud in America, it's this. Thanksgiving should not be controversial. And yet, here we are. Somehow, a holiday built around food, family, and falling asleep on the couch has turned into yet another political battlefield. You almost have to laugh at how ridiculous it's gotten. But before we get too deep into the chaos, do me a quick favor. Go ahead and tap that like button. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future videos where we break down the madness with a little humor and a lot of honesty. Now, let's get into it because, wow, there's a lot to unpack here. So, Bill Maher kicked things off with that classic Maher blend of sarcasm and common sense when he said he couldn't believe even Thanksgiving has become a political issue. And honestly, same. When did stuffing turkey and sweet potato casserole become partisan problems? Who looked at mashed potatoes and thought, HM, this is somehow oppressive. But according to Ma, and let's be real, he's not wrong, the far left has been on a kind of holiday-destroying tour lately. First, Halloween was problematic. Then Father's Day became a symbol of patriarchy. And now Thanksgiving is basically canceled unless everyone at the table votes the same way. Imagine being so ideological that you need a political background check before you pass a cranberry sauce. Ma points out something deeper, though. This idea that we've reached a point where people are literally cutting off family. Not because of, personal betrayal or some huge falling out, but because someone voted red instead of blue or vice versa. How wild is that? We now live in a culture where politics has broken up more families than letting your spouse scroll through your phone. And honestly, he's not wrong. That wave Maher talked about, it's not just random internet drama. It's becoming an identity. There are people out here proudly announcing, almost like a badge of honor, that they won't sit with their own parents because of who they voted for. When did we turn into ideological Scientologists? Disconnection used to be a fringe concept. Now it's a personality trait. Even David Litt, who literally worked as a speechwriter for Obama, publicly said he used to snub his conservative relatives and realized, yeah, that was a mistake. He admitted it. And you'd think people would be like, hey, good for you, personal growth. But nope. The woke wing basically tried to banish him for daring to suggest maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't cut off half the country over political disagreements, because heaven forbid someone take a moment to reflect and try being a normal human again. Then there's Molly Cerny, Jimmy Kimmel's wife and head writer, who talked about losing relationships with relatives because she emailed them 10 reasons not to vote for Trump and they didn't listen. 10 whole reasons. But as Maher said, even if you had 100 reasons, an ultimatum isn't persuasion, it's pressure. And pressure doesn't make people rethink their politics, because it's so true. And that's where all this gets interesting. The far left is painting Thanksgiving as this unbearable moral test. Like sitting next to your uncle who watches Fox News is the same as dining with a war criminal. Newsflash, it's not that deep. Disagreeing with someone at the dinner table isn't oppression. It's called family. If anything, refusing to show up because someone supports the wrong candidate reveals more about your character than theirs. Thanksgiving is supposed to be a day to pause, to breathe, to appreciate the good things, however small. But some people are so consumed by political resentment that they can't even pretend to be grateful for a single day. They've turned bitterness into a lifestyle. Maher joked that some liberals treat their values as code for I'm the only one with a moral compass. And it's true, but here's the kicker. Ma himself votes Democrat. He's not coming from the right. He's coming from the place where common sense used to be. His whole point is simple. If 77 million Americans didn't trust your side to take power, maybe ask why, instead of pretending you're the only person who ever cared about